Good morning, church, and welcome to Steveo's Dugout Devos. We're in the dugout today because it's raining. No sunrise. Gloomy, gloom, despair, and agony on me. So that makes Devo exponentially more difficult, but we always find a way. I did my run today in the rain because runners find a way to run, right? Ron Karsanovich. Runners find a way. And God finds a way. That's my takeaway from today's one-year Bible reading. In the Old Testament portion of the reading today, Joseph finally reveals his identity to his brothers, and they go back and tell the father, Jacob, and Jacob can't believe it at first. He's thought for the last 20 years that Joseph was dead. But finally he says, you know what? Joseph must be alive. He realizes God in his providence found the way. And the providence of God is not supernatural. It's the natural ways in which God provides for us. So it's not the same as a miracle, it's providential. And most of God's working in our lives is providential, but it's nonetheless godly for that. And in the New Testament, we see Jesus finds a way to feed the 5,000. And his disciples come to him and say, we got 5,000 men here, many more when you count women and children. How are we going to feed all these people? And Jesus says, you give them something to eat. He wants them to stop whining and complaining and realize they have a resource with them named Jesus who can help find a way. And finally, he breaks up the lunch, a little boy's lunch, and multiplies it and feeds the 5,000. He found a way. And then the third example is when the disciples are in the boat in the storm, they're terrified, and Jesus comes walking to them on the water. And Simon Peter says, Lord, if it's really you, call me to you. And Jesus says, come ahead. And Peter walks on the water. Who would have ever expected that? That is supernatural. These last two are miraculous, provision of God. But Jesus found a way. And so whatever we're struggling with and dealing with, and maybe it's been 20 years of struggle like Joseph, never give up. God finds a way. And usually it's something we never would have imagined. It never even occurred to us. There's a hidden way that only God knows. And our part is to be faithful and trust God and obedient and keep pressing on until he shows us the way. Listen, Joseph ruled, but he did not rule without going to prison first. Peter walked on water, but he also sank. Jesus fed the 5,000, but he had to break that lunch. When we're broken, we can feed. When we sink, we can walk. When we're in prison, we can go on to rule. We just have to be faithful and obedient and trust God. That's the Dugout Devo today. My dugout friends, God loves you, and so do I.